What's up guys, it's Dwayne from Mountain Buck. Today I'm checking out the brand new Stealth Cam Flashback cellular trail camera. Now you might notice this camera looks different, and that's due to that white Xenon flash up there. And that thing's gonna give you full color nighttime shots, and that's different from just about any other trail camera on the market. This thing also shoots 40 megapixel photos, and it has that on-demand feature so you can get pictures of your hunting spot whenever you want. Let's check it out. So here it is out of the packaging, guys, and check that out. Up top there you have that white flash, and that is the short duration, really quick burst flash. But that's going to enable you to see everything at nighttime in crystal clear color. Very interesting. I can't wait to check that out. You also have this really nice tree bark camo on here. Around back, of course, you have the slots for your strap for the tree. You could lock this thing down with a Python cable if you wish. On bottom here, you have the thread mounts if you want to mount it that way, and a 12-volt plug here if you want to plug it into a solar panel or external battery. You also have the antenna here, and this is a dual network antenna. So this is going to jump on whichever cell phone signal is strongest in your area. So that's going to make sure that you are up and running with this thing no matter what network you have in your area and what network works best. You also get in the packaging, you get a strap for the tree to mount it that way. You get a quick start guide, and they give you a little Stealth Cam decal in there, so that's really nice. Let's open this thing up. We have a battery pack in there, and that's actually a pretty slim design because you could put 16 batteries in this thing, and that's a nice slim design for 16 batteries, so that should definitely help out with your battery life. You get this tag in here that asks you to download the Command Pro app, and this is really easy to activate because you have a QR code here that you're going to scan with that app. Let's walk through that. It's very easy to add this camera to your Command Pro app. Click that plus sign and scan that QR code. The camera is now activating. Next, we should insert the batteries, the SD card, and power on the camera. Very easy setup. You also have a very small operation panel right here. You have the on-off, you have the LED indicators, and a sync button. And then on the back here where the batteries go, you have the little legend to tell you what those lights mean and the colors and all that. Let's get some batteries in this thing and fire it up. Clip it in there, and I should also point out this takes a standard size SD card, which is really nice. Let's fire this guy up here. Okay, hit next, then format your SD card. Power on your camera. Click next after your camera is registered. It will ask you to set the direction where you have your camera positioned. They make it easy to select a subscription plan right from the Command Pro app. Add your payment information and your plan will be updated. You'll now see it available from your app. Click that little down arrow to access the settings. Select your upload frequency. The more times you choose, the more battery it will use. I'm going with the twice per day option to conserve the batteries for now. Schedule your upload time here. Choose from photo or time-lapse mode. Select your photo resolution, and we are jacking that thing all the way up to 40 megapixels. You can choose to have photo burst with 2 photos. Here are your burst interval options from 1 to 5 seconds. You can set your photo delay from just a few seconds to 1 hour. I usually go with 10 seconds. I'm setting that PIR sensitivity to high. Here's where you can get on-demand photos. Keep in mind this setting will impact battery life. I'll leave it off for now. DVR mode will write over old photos on your SD card with new ones so you don't miss anything. This here is a really nice feature which I like. You can share access to this camera here, so if you have a buddy or family member you want to check your photos, here's where you invite them. All right, our flashback settings are right where we want them. Let's get this thing outside and run some tests. Okay, our flashback is all set up on the tree, looking great with that realistic tree bark camo on there. And the first test I'm gonna do here today is the image clarity, image quality test, where I hold up an eye chart, very similar to the one that you have in your optometrist office where you check your vision. I'm gonna set up about 15 feet in front of the camera, hold this up and see how clear these images are. All right, next up is our trigger speed test. Now the Flashback has a 0.4 second trigger. How I'm gonna test that out is I have a cone set up 10 yards in front of the camera. I'm just gonna run right by and see how quickly this camera will pick me up. Next up is our detection range test. Now the Flashback has a 100-foot detection range and a 100-foot flash range with those white Xenon flashes. How I'm testing this one out is I have 4 cones set up back there behind me at varying distances. First one's at 10 yards, then 20, 30 yards, and finally all the way out at 33 yards to see if we could extend and max out at the range here. I'm gonna walk by each one at a nice leisurely pace and see how far out the Flashback can detect me. All right, our tests out here are all set. Let's check that footage and see how this camera performed. Here's the image clarity test, and this was done with the full HD image that I pulled from the SD card. You can see pretty clearly down to line 10 or even 11 when I zoom in on my phone. Very clear 40 megapixel photos. Here is our trigger speed test, and this camera in its 0.4 second trigger caught me there before mid-frame, which is a legit 0.4 seconds. Definitely a quality trigger on this camera. For detection range, the Flashback caught me at every single marker all the way out to 33 yards. I'm happy with that performance, capturing me all the way out to 99 feet. Here's an example of the daytime image quality you get right from the app, and I have to say the standard images you get are really nice quality with this camera. And here's the HD version of the same image. Here's a side-by-side comparison of the regular image and the HD version that I've blown up and put next to each other so you can see the difference in quality. Obviously, you can see much more detail on the HD side. You can see their hair texture and the grass and weeds much better. Here's a photo where this doe is obviously pretty close to the camera, and again, check out that regular standard image quality you get right from the app. That's a nice quality image on its own. And here's the HD version, even more crisp and clear. And here's a side-by-side comparison where you can see how much more clear the HD version is. One thing I noticed about some of those daytime images is that the camera seems to oversaturate them. I don't know if it's because the sun's out really strong or what's going on there. It's not really an issue for me, just an observation. So I had to show you this one more daytime photo with this big Tom all puffed out there strutting around. And this is an example of a little bit of that oversaturation, but that's a nice looking image right from the app. And here's the HD version. Now let's check out the side-by-side comparison, and obviously you can see a bit more detail on the HD side with those feathers and that shine and texture of that bird really well. Okay, now for the nighttime images, and I was real curious how they would look with that white Xenon flash. Check out this fox at night. Now of course you get some eye shine here, but here's another shot where it isn't so prevalent. Let's take a look at the HD version. You can see the nice orange color of the fox there, the pattern in its fur with the black, and of course the green grass and tree color. Here's a side-by-side comparison of both the standard and HD versions. And I have to say, I was really curious to see if that flash would scare the animals away. Now, I had that fox in there for quite a few minutes. I've had some raccoons in and out of there hanging around. The flash did not bother them at all. They hung around, did their thing. I didn't have any deer come through, so I wouldn't be able to tell, but I'm sure they'd be fine with it as well. I really wanted to see how the color looked in those nighttime photos, so I wore an orange shirt and blue jeans and got some images. You can see here that orange color is looking vivid, as are the blue jeans and the green grass. Really nice to see vibrant colors here at nighttime in pitch darkness. Here's the white Xenon flash your camera will put off for those nighttime photos. It's a quick burst, and as you saw in the photos, it lights the environment really well. Over the course of my test period, the Flashback took 442 photos, and the battery is still showing full in the app. Now, it would be nice to have a numerical battery indicator because we don't know here if that battery is at 76% or at 96% because it's showing those 4 full bars. Keep in mind that I had this on the twice-a-day photo transmission, which is a pretty conservative setting. And I also had the on-demand feature on for about 12 hours. And here's that process with the on-demand picture. As you can see, you request an on-demand photo, and you get it a few seconds later. So there it is, the StealthCam Flashback. This camera produces some very high quality images with that 40 megapixel camera. It has some really nice night shots with that white Xenon flash in there, and the battery has held up very well. As always, the links to guys we talk about are in the description below. Guys, get yourself some killer mountain buck gear. Do me a favor, hook me up and hit subscribe. Thank you guys so much for hanging out, and we'll see you on the next one.